Hello, hello, and welcome back to another Chris McPherson Show Daily Dose. And it's time to talk some Big Bash with the tournament underway already. And over the opening stretch of the Big Bash, we've seen some statement innings, game-breaking spells, and finishes that have gone right down to the wire. And today we're going to unpack the first 4 games of the regular season. And this is going to be about who actually shaped the contest, not just what the scorecards say. And we're looking to drop these impact player and match wraps every 4 to 6 games right across the Big Bash competition throughout your summer. And if you're new here, of course, welcome. But make sure you hit subscribe and follow us across the socials. You can find us at The Chris Mack Show on Instagram, on TikTok, on X and Facebook for lots of daily cricket content and much, much more. Match reactions, Big Bash coverage, and plenty of other sports. Now, before we dive in, a quick explainer on how our player impact points are going to work in our system this season. For every completed Big Bash match, there are 20 total points on offer. Any player can earn points. There's no cap, but those points are shared based on the impact and performances judged by our team. So 20 points in total. If one player has an absolute blinder and everyone else stinks it up, they could get 20. Or we could have 4 players on 5 or any other permutation or combination out of those 20 points. If a match is started but not completed, points will depend on how much cricket is played. If neither side reaches their 5 overs, no points will be awarded. But if one side reaches 8 overs or more, but the match can't be finished due to conditions, 8 total points will be allocated. Simple, straightforward, and all about the influence and impact each individual has on each game. So let's get into it. Starting with game 1, and let's rewind to the 14th of December on Sunday at Optus Stadium, the opening night of the Big Bash. There was rain around, and it led to an 11-over shootout to kick the season off. The Scorchers ended up chasing down 113 to beat the Sydney Sixers by 5 wickets and setting the tone early for BBL15. As we said, the Sixers had posted 5 for 113. It was time for the impact performers, and this game had a clear number 1 at the top of the list. It was Cooper Connolly with 8 points. Connolly owned this match. His 59 from 31 balls wasn't just the highest score of the game. It was the innings that controlled the chase from start to finish. He picked his moments, punished anything loose, and never allowed the Sixers to build pressure. In a shortened contest, that's as decisive as it gets. Next up, Brody Couch, 3 points. With the ball, he was outstanding. He bowled with control through the middle overs, picked up key wickets, and ensured the Sixers never got the late surge they were hunting for. In a low-scoring, reduced games, those tight overs matter enormously. Also 3 points, Jack Edwards. For Sydney, Edwards was the backbone of the innings. His 46 off 21 balls gave the Sixers a fighting total after they wobbled early. Without that knock, this game doesn't even get to being a contest. Then we go to the 2-point contributors. Aaron Hardy added some calm composure and important runs in the chase, supporting Connolly as the Scorchers closed it out. Finn Allen set the tone early and took some great catches for the Sixers behind the stumps. For the Scorchers behind the stumps to defend from ball 1. And rounding out the list on 1 point each, Joel Paris and Ben Dwarshuis, both delivering disciplined overs and keeping things tight when momentum could have gone against their team. Dwarshuis always competes hard for the Sixers, even as the margin narrowed late. So when you stack it all up, the game belonged to one man. The Sixers had contributors. Perth had the closer in Cooper Connolly. Statement made to get the season underway and rolling for our edition of BBL 15. Moving on to Monday, at Geelong, and the Melbourne Renegades posted a huge 212 for 5, then held off a fast-finishing and brave Brisbane Heat challenge to win by 14 runs in a high-scoring encounter. At the top of the night's impact chart, no surprises here. The Kiwi star Tim Seifert, 9 points and our impact performer of the night. He was unstoppable, smashing a blistering century, dominating the Renegades' big total and setting the platform for everything that followed. When one player takes control like that in a 20-over game, he's the heartbeat of the performance and hard to look past. Next up, Ollie Peake. The Aussie under-19 captain's picked up 4 points, and he was right there with Seifert for the bulk of that Renegades inning, carving out a classy 50 and making sure the Heat bowlers never found a rhythm. His innings was cultured and impactful at a key stage, both early in the match and early in his developing career. 2 points each, we've gone Jack Wildermuth and Colin Munro, 2 stars for the Heat. Wildermuth was a swing bowler who broke some crucial partnerships and kept the pressure on for the Heat bowling attack, while Munro's half-century for Brisbane gave them the platform they needed to stay in the hunt and chase deep into the game. Following on from those guys, on 1 point each, we have Will Sutherland. He led from the front with some tight, controlled bowling spell to stem the run flow at points. Jimmy Pearson provided a late burst for the Heat in a chase that never quite caught fire, just enough to get it done at the death. and Xavier Bartlett, chipping in as he does with tight bowling when his side needed that the most. So when you bring it all together, this one was lit up by a Seaford special, backed up by a serious young contributor in Ollie Peake. And though the heat fought hard, especially through Munro and Pearson, the Renegades' top order set the challenge that was just too steep. We then move on to Tuesday, and it was Bellerive Oval and a classic Big Bash thriller, a final rematch from last season, the Hobart Hurricanes, coming up against the Sydney Thunder, chasing down a target of 181 with just a ball to spare, winning by 4 wickets in a high-octane contest. In terms of the impact performers of the night, you couldn't go too far beyond the two men that we tied for the impact player of the night, Billy Stanlake and Chris Jordan, both with 5 points. Stanlake was a match definer with the ball. He consistently punched above his weight, generated real pace, and picked up crucial strikes at key moments to keep the Thunder on their heels. His ability to break partnerships and strike back when the game was swinging was worth every bit of his impact score. Matching him on 5 points in this one was the Englishman Chris Jordan, the seasoned campaigner who showed exactly why he can be so valuable in T20 contests. Jordan delivered under pressure with both ball and bat, contributing crucial phases with tidy overs and key contributions, keeping the Hurricanes in the hunt and eventually on top. In a game this tight, that kind of all-round utility is absolutely gold. Next up, it was for the Thunder. Cameron Bancroft, 3 points. He played a pivotal innings for the Thunder in the first half of their game, anchoring their total with a well-constructed half-century that set the platform for a competitive score with wickets falling around. In games like this, a big contribution with the bat right up front can be the difference between winning and losing, and Bancroft delivered exactly that. Unfortunately, the result wasn't to come. Also on 3 points, his Thunder teammate, Shadab Khan. His spin bowling kept the Hurricanes guessing throughout their chase. He bowled smart, varied his pace, and picked up timely wickets that made Hobart work for every run. On a pitch giving something for both bat and ball, his discipline was significant, as was his influence late with the bat. Following on those performances were the 2-point contributors. Mitch Owen, as always, influential with the bat for the Hurricanes. Maybe not quite as much as last time these two clashed, but his innings provided some valuable momentum, helping to rebuild after early setbacks and ensuring the chase didn't completely lose its way. He was linking up with others and keeping that scoreboard moving, and it was stellar in a pressure chase. Speaking of people that were stellar with the bat, Daniel Sams also posted 2 points for his efforts, bringing his trademark energy and absolutely exploding with the bat. He mixed pace and precision when bowling in the death overs, when games really hang in the balance. He helped to keep the runs in check at the end, and it's often underrated what he contributes, but on a night like this, it was unquestionably impactful, even if it didn't turn the result. This game had everything: big scores, tight bowling spells, momentum shifts and swings, and a finish that kept fans on the edge of their seats until the very last over. A 4-wicket win remaining tells you just how close this was and how every contribution counted. So when you stack it all up, it was Stanlake and Jordan who were the difference here, anchoring a brilliant show for the Hurricanes with control and pressure bowling as from a number of others as well. Nights like this are why the Big Bash remains one of the most entertaining T20 leagues in the world. And then last night at the SCG, the Adelaide Strikers chased down 160 to make it 0-2 for the Sydney Sixers to start this edition, winning by 3 wickets with 4 balls to spare in a cracking Big Bash tussle. The Sixers batted first and posted 159 for 9, with Josh Felipe doing the heavy lifting for Sydney, scoring a lively 46 off 28. There wasn't enough support around him. Our top performers of the night, starting with our impact performer, Liam Scott. We gave him 5 points. He was composed, explosive, smashing a quick 5.51 off just 32 balls, anchoring the Strikers' chase and keeping them in control when the wickets were falling at either end. He was easily the most impactful bat on the park. Next up on 4 points, just pipped for our player of the match, but a real all-round contributor was Jamie Overton, smashing a vital 30 off 20 when the chase needed a spark and backing up with tight bowling, finishing with 2 key wickets to help choke the Sixers in the middle overs. Back in the points for the second time in the Sixers' second game, Jack Edwards also picked up 4 points, making his mark with the ball. He was a standout bowler of Sydney, claiming 2 for 27, including dismissals that kept the Strikers on the back foot early. And that kind of strike bowling in key overs is huge in the Big Bash, throwing a cameo with a bat of 32 for 21, and you can see why he drew so much interest in the IPL auction recently. Onto the 3 points, Luke Wood backed that up with 3 crucial strikes for the Strikers, keeping the pressure on throughout the Sixers innings and helping restrict them to a chaseable total, a real double duo effort alongside Overton. Hassan Ali got 2 points as well, chipping in with some late innings runs, a small cameo, but one that nudged the scoreboard when it mattered, as well as his work with the ball. And rounding out the contributions Felipe, with his efforts at the bat, got one, and Lloyd Pope one as well with spin for the Strikers, both offering glimpses of impact, with Felipe top scoring for the Sixers and Pope keeping things tight with the ball and claiming the key scalps of Felipe and Jordan Silk. So when you break it down, the Strikers' victory came from a blend of composure in the chase and all-round utility from key players and strike options with the ball led by Wood when it mattered most. If you're scoring squads on impact, Scott absolutely led the line, but it was Overton's all-round game that sealed the night. Very little between them. Well, that wraps up games 1 to 4, so let's close it out with a quick top 5 impact players recap from the opening batch of Big Bash games. At number 1, the inaugural century maker of the BBL15, Tim Seifert from the Renegades. He's on 9 points. Our early pace setter after a statement performance with the bat. Second along, we have Cooper Connolly just on his heels from the Scorchers on 8 points. That opening night innings in a rain-affected game that set the tone for Perth and announced him as a player to watch in this edition of the Big Batch. At 3, Jack Edwards from the Sixers on 7 points, although it's worth noting that across 2 games that he's played now, he showed some consistency. He has had that extra game. And then 3 players tied in 4th on 5 points apiece. Billy Stanlake and Chris Jordan from the Hurricanes and Liam Scott from the Strikers. 3 very different players all making decisive contributions when it mattered most. As we look ahead now, we've got our first look at the Stars as they host the Hurricanes tonight, Thursday night, before we roll straight into Friday's clash between the Heat and the Scorchers, with plenty more points up for grabs in our Impact Player of the Year and plenty more movement, undoubtedly, not only on the board, but on the BBL15 ladder. We'll be back early next week with another episode, unpacking the next batch of games and updating the Impact ladder as the season continues to take shape. If you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe. Follow us along on the socials at The Chris Mack Show, and we'll keep you covered all summer across the cricket and much, much more. Until next time, we'll see you here again on your home of the black and white of sport. No grey opinions.